Hello and welcome to this next character journal from the Tainted Lands, Shadows of the City. When we last left off, we got into a bit of a fight with the orcish assassin who attempted to assassinate Wallace in the library, the Chapel of Tomes, and we managed to find a sort of trail to an import house which, by the looks of it, was being used as maybe a place where Thieves Guild was running, as we found a secret room underneath and combat ensued, killing all of them except from one of the Skaven. Wallace took a direct initiative in questioning him about his motives and who was paying him to do what, and he let go the knowledge that it was indeed Ragnar that had paid them to harbour this assassin essentially until the work was done, which I can only assume would be to kill Wallace. Now, Wallace at this point in time has had a lot of anxiety about the ever looming threat of Ragnar. They've learned that he is going after the Rune Hammer, and it's been common knowledge for a while that Ragnar killed his friend Feetserk. But this is a bit more about that from him, and Wallace might natter on about him, but that's more of a way for him to kind of distract himself from the fact that Ragnar didn't just kill his best friend and one of his only friends, he destroyed his entire order. People that he was with for years, learning his craft, and the first kind of place that he was ever accepted to from a kind of community. And so Wallace wanted to make an example of this Skaven, and he wanted to do this in a way that would directly attract Ragnar's attention by blood eagling him. However, before Wallace could start to do this, he kind of slammed him against the wall, and Sir Kay had put Wallace to sleep. And this was something that is now making Wallace question everything. If he can even trust these people, he is considering running away at this point. People are now intervening in matters to him which are personal, and him being a dwarf is very sort of stubborn and set in his own ways. So it wasn't all doom and gloom. Basically Junie, while Wallace was asleep, she'd sort of argued like we should not let this guy go. He ended up escaping anyway, and we found a considerable amount of gold, probably close to 3,000-4,000 gold, in a sort of ivory music box, which we later found out that was stashed here. So, I don't know whose money this is, but I can guarantee that they will not be happy that we have taken it. So after that, we got up and be at the bar. The man that was sort of at the reception in this import house, or whether it be the Skaven that escaped, perhaps set this place on fire as it was smoking, and we had to leave just as soon as possible. And Kay kind of pretended, he saved us from the fire, and we managed to get away without creating too much of a scene. But then again, when you're in one of the biggest cities in the Tainted Lands of the North, and there's a fire, we definitely attracted attention to ourselves, which again is something that Wallace personally didn't like. He wished that they'd went about things differently. Whilst they wanted to send a message, it would have been more discreet. It would have been something that, really only Ragnar would know if a message got back to him that a body was displayed in the same manner in which he killed a lot of clerics of Niam the Untold. And so with this, there was an agreed dinner with Laughlin's father at the Silver Pony Inn. Now, everyone kind of bathed, some people had a nap, some people, had a bit of downtime. Wallace was more concerned with getting a little payback on Kane, so using some of his trickery knowledge, he made him think that there was an earthquake in his room. Inadvertently, this caused him to drop the ashes of someone, an old man. Don't know much about him, but basically that Kay kind of cares about for some reason, obviously, if he's carrying his ashes. And they had a bit of a chat, and discovered this music box. Toby came in, had a look at it and whatnot, and we also found a couple of rings. One of them has like animals on it, and it was believed that it would help someone speak to animals. Wallace just wants a pet. He mentally is not really in a good place right now. He's got a lot of anxiety about the guy that's kind of killing everyone and is going after a god-forged hammer. And a wee Pomeranian or something would be something that could distract him for the better. The other one, the other ring, not too sure what it does or whatnot, but I think after the discussion it was agreed that the ring that Wallace took would be given to Wynne. Wallace just wanted to, talk to an animal first before he gave it to her. He'll probably give it to her as soon as he feels like he's done with it. Which, not for anything important. I'm sure that Wynne, being a druid, would get a lot more use out of this animal ring than Wallace ever would. And so, yeah, her mother and father came to this dinner. And again, Wallace is a very inquisitive person. People interest him, and when he's trying to figure someone out, he really delves into how they think. And from what Wynne has told them of her parents, they seem pretty strict with her, and she seems to have a bit of resentment for them. They were more focused on the arcane and studying, and Wynne's more of a free spirit. She wants to go out and embrace nature and see a bit of the world, and well, she has, and she's grown as a person a lot with the group. And so Wallace stole one of the books that her father was reading, and it was kind of one of lore and legend around the town that they were staying in, about a fabled monster that was basically kidnapping people. And Wallace obviously knows that her parents are smart, and he wanted to loosen his tongue a bit to maybe see if they knew a bit more. But as everything, it never goes to plan, and Wallace ended up overindulging with the drink himself, and he was kind of in her father's ear for most of the night. The rest of them kind of trying to impress her mother. We kind of asked about Gwen, got some embarrassing stories about things she'd done when she was young, asked different questions about what we were doing, and they discovered kind of our intentions about going after this. Potentially we could be fighting an ancient white dragon, which again is something else that Wallace is, it's keeping him up at night. They seem quite concerned for their daughter as well, and they want to have a private chat with her about it. So, things didn't get too out of hand. Wallace managed to keep it zipped relatively well without making embarrassing one too much. But yeah, as they left, sort of at the edge of the silver pony, a cloaked sort of figure approached on a horse and fell off, and Wallace rushed over and kind of took down his hood, and his skin was all bloated and kind of had boils and whatnot on it, and I'm pretty sure he burst one and saw this ichor come out, and it was pretty disgusting. Dead. Another problem. Don't know where it's came from, but we can't really seem to catch a minute's break. Wallace this is the first time in a while that he's considering running away. He's been running after something, and the more he's learning about it, the more he's kind of concerned about it. And maybe one day Wallace will, maybe tell them the truth. But we'll find out. So thank you for listening to this character journal. This was kind of taken from what Wallace took from it, what he saw, and a bit more about how he felt about it. If you watch this video, then thank you very much. We stream Mondays 8 PM Eastern Time. Our Twitch is the Tainted Lands, and if you can't catch us on that and you're watching us on YouTube, we also appreciate that as well. So we'll hopefully see you 8 PM on Monday. Cheers.